Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is David Rowlands. I'm the editor of B2B Marketing. Welcome to today's webinar. We're just going to give the audience 1 or 2 minutes, no longer, just to let people join, because obviously it can take, a couple of minutes for people to find a link, sign in, all the rest of it. And then we'll do the full introduction for our speaker today, and then we'll get right into the presentation itself. Hello, everyone. If you just missed my very brief introduction there, my name is David Rowlands. I'm the editor of B2B Marketing. Tonight, I am joined, well, tonight in the UK at least, I'm joined by Sunny Dasgupta, who is the head of product marketing at Conversica. As I'm sure you know, tonight's presentation is entitled The 4 Ps of Sales Effectiveness to Boost Revenue. So, as we all know, effective lead follow-up is crucial to pipeline generation, but so many companies out there don't actually have a coherent strategy, it seems. So with that in mind, Conversica have done research for 1,000+ companies. They've sought to evaluate these companies' responses to leads. And they've done this using the 4 Ps, which are promptness, persistence, personalization, and performance. I will let Sunny give the full explanation of this. I'm sure he'll do a much better job than me. But before we get started, Sunny, is there anything you wanted to mention before we dive in?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me on the call today, and I'm looking forward to an exciting conversation. I'm the head of product marketing at Conversica, and I recently joined Conversica, but I have been doing technology marketing and sales for a long time. Recently, I was the head of product marketing at SAP, leading their customer data solutions. And some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are something that I personally experienced every day as a marketer, and they're very near and dear to my heart. And that is one of the reasons I joined Conversica, because I believe they're actually solving some of these challenges that marketers and sales professionals are facing. So I hope that helps as a context.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much. So before we begin then, really, can you provide us a little bit of background as to why this is such an important topic? What makes it even more relevant as we are going through this crisis and, the rules of the game are changing, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, so as a background, I would say the primary purpose of a company is to drive revenue, right? And we do that by delivering value for our customers, or companies for their customers through the sale of products and or services. And the success of a company's sales as well as marketing teams lie in their ability to convert leads and prospects into customer. So one of the most important factor in doing so is how well sales organization follow up with the inbound leads that marketing generates, because your inbound leads hold tremendous potential for revenue opportunities, and they're critical to the success of your organization. Look, this has always been the case, but now, due to the pandemic, as companies are rethinking their digital transformation strategy, sales teams' productivity and capacity and marketing ROI, they are top of mind for every organization. You need to touch all leads right now in a COVID world, and you should be confidently able to answer, what does your lead scoring strategy look like right now? How effective is it? How do you really know how leads are going to engage with you? And if you cannot confidently answer these questions, you're not helping your company to be successful in this crisis. So that's why this is such an important topic, and that's why we wanted to talk to you guys about this topic.
Sure. It's fascinating that, so many companies spend so much time and effort getting leads in, but then don't actually have a cohesive response to, actually following up with those leads. So with all that in mind that you've just talked about, what are the biggest challenges for sales and marketing teams to deliver revenue?
Yeah, that's a great question. So where do I begin? So let's start with marketing. Marketing does not know if they're delivering high quality marketing qualified leads to sales, because they don't have great visibility into the sales follow-up process, right? Sales is then unable to follow up, qualify, nurture 100% of marketing leads, and this is resulting in not only like disappointing campaign return on investment, but also pipeline contribution. And even this problem continues even post sales, right? Take a look at customer success teams. They're always resource constrained because they don't have the capacity to personalize customer interaction at scale. This is also impacting opportunities for cross-selling, upselling, and account expansion in general, which is very, very critical in this difficult time. So just at a high level, these are some of the challenges that I see sales and marketing teams are facing. As you mentioned, David, Conversica commissioned an independent research study on how companies in different industries are doing in engaging and converting their inbound leads. And that's what we are here to talk about today.
Sure. So with that in mind, could you perhaps tell us a little bit about the sales effectiveness benchmark study that you did, and how was it structured exactly?
Yeah, so this is hot off the press, right? We are still finalizing the report, but I wanted to give you guys a kind of a sneak peek at some of the early results with the hope that this would be helpful. So we looked at over 1,100 companies across different industries. The industries that we looked at are technology, telecommunications, and media and entertainment. So technology and telecommunications being B2B, and media and entertainment being B2C. We evaluated these companies, these 1,100 companies that we talked to, their success using 4 key elements of lead engagement: promptness, persistence, personalization, and performance. So these are the 4 P's of sales effectiveness. And based on that, we put together a report called the Sales Effectiveness Benchmark Report. Some of the data used here came from best practices from third-party sources. For example, McKinsey & Company, Harvard Business Review, Inside Big Data. So these are some of the sources. And with our finding, we also shared some of the best practices and lessons learned of successful lead engagement in this report. So if I can go slightly deeper, promptness, right? Promptness is really about how quickly did a company follow up on an inquiry with a personalized response. And then you look at persistence. How many attempts did the company make to follow up with the lead? Personalization, that's all about to what extent was the response personalized? Did the response move the conversation forward? And performance is really about, did the email successfully reach the lead's primary inbox? Did the or did it end up landing in promotions or social or junk or spam folder? So findings from this report can help our audience understand where your company stands in relation to other companies in your industry. What factors are strong indicators of success or failure, and what measures you can take to align your sales and marketing teams with best practices to lead management, and which effectively would lead to drive higher conversions. So that's the objective, David.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, certainly makes sense that promptness, how quickly did a company follow up on a lead, would be a critical factor. Could you tell us a little bit about how you actually evaluated that?
Yeah, so our research indicated that promptness is the most important factor when engaging with an inbound lead. The faster the connection made, the higher the likelihood of converting a lead to a customer. And here you can see on the slide some of the data that to demonstrate how great a difference even a few minutes can make. Leads contacted within an hour of receiving an inquiry are nearly 7 times more likely to engage, and 60 times more likely as companies, when you compare with companies that waited 24 hours or longer to reply. The conversion rate increases by 391% when companies make a call attempt within a minute of receiving a lead. And this is where, like, people-powered lead engagement simply can't keep up with this velocity. So that the likelihood of lead conversion drops significantly during the first 3 minutes after the lead inquiry. So you can kind of see our grading key and grading criteria. A couple of things I want to mention here is, when assigning a company a promptness grade, we disregarded autoresponder emails, naturally, and we also counted the amount of time between our initial point of contact with a company and its first personalized response. And one of the things I would share is that this year, nearly a quarter of the companies responded within 5 minutes, earning an A grade in promptness. Most companies took more than a week to respond, earning an F grade. In this new pandemic world, where everything is digital first, taking more than a week to respond is pretty much as good as not responding at all. So, you can clearly see companies, especially the companies, not those 22.3% that you're seeing there. The rest of the companies would definitely need help.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I mean, 391% increase in engagement rate for contacting a lead in less than a minute. I mean, I think I speak for most people, I hope, where I think, responding in a day is good, but less than a minute, it's clearly worthwhile. Just move on to the next question then. So how many attempts should companies actually make on average to contact a lead? Are there any best practices you can share? And is there also, a time to give up?
Yeah, it's a great question, David. So while promptness is critical, it's also rare that a single response is enough to motivate a prospect to schedule a meeting with sales, right? So this is because of multiple reasons. Because people have busy schedules. People are researching organization at their own pace, and just we can all relate to this, that sometimes emails get buried and we miss phone calls. So increasing number of attempts would result in increased conversion, right? What we found is that if you attempt to contact a lead just 3 times instead of once, it will double the response rate. Companies with the fastest growing revenues are generally attempting to contact a lead maybe 5 to 8 times. The other thing, I mean, to your point, David, it is true that too few touches may not capture a recipient's attention and may not motivate them to respond. But on the other hand, too many attempts, too many contact attempts can produce diminishing returns or could really piss off your recipient. So 15% of companies earned A grade by making 5 to 11 attempts, and that's and we can also see over half of the companies give up after 1 or 2 attempts to follow up with the leads. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just before we go any further, just a note to our audience. We have a chat box at the bottom where you can actually put in any questions you might have for Sunny, and we can look to answer those at the end in a quick Q&A. So moving forwards now, though, I'd like to take a minute to talk about personalization. With everyone getting so much junk mail every day, personalized communication is, of course, critical. But what are some of the key factors that can make an email personalized?
Yeah, so it's no surprise that personalized communication with an inbound lead would significantly increase the likelihood of successful engagement and conversion. There's just absolutely no surprise. But some of the things that we looked at are sending an email from an individual rather than a company name can increase your click-through rate significantly by say 31%. Including a signature in your email improves your response rate by 22%. Emails with personalized subject lines are 26% more likely to be opened by a recipient. Email that's resembling a personal letter are opened a lot more, 137% more often, and they enjoy 129% click-through rate than if you were to send graphics-heavy email with generic to and from fields. So we kind of know that it makes sense. I mean, the things that I'm talking about, but to back this up with data and with research, I think it just validates that things that we already know, kind of intuitively know and understand. And so with this stats in mind, our researchers created a 5-part standard to evaluate each individual response for personalization. So personalized greeting, did the message refer to the secret shopper by name? Individual sender, right? So did the from line of the email has a human name as opposed to a company, a team, or department name? Signature, contact information. Did the message provide contact information from the sender? But from a success factor perspective, did the sales associate move the conversation forward, right? And personalized content perspective, did the content of the email reference the lead's initial request? So all emails and voicemails in this study were graded for personalization using this 5-part rubric. And unsurprisingly, voicemails were far more personalized than emails due to the natural flow of spoken conversation and lack of automated solutions. However, there were voicemails that failed to reference the company name entirely, making it difficult, if not impossible, to determine their origin. So, like some of the, I think the key nuggets were almost every communication that included the lead's first name in a personalized greeting, but that got attention. But that alone is not enough to qualify as a well-crafted email, as a personalized email. The expectations are much higher. And 30% of the companies made an effort to send tailored responses by including 4 or more personalization elements in their follow-up communications, which is great. That's a great number. 30% of the companies that did that, but also means that 70% of the companies fail to personalize their communication properly. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're all on the receiving end of those emails that say, dear David or dear Sunny, and then the rest of it doesn't really follow, and it's not personalized at all. But it's good to see that at least 30% of those companies are really making the effort there. So moving away from personalization, you spoke about performance as one of the 4 Ps. What was your method for grading performance?
Yeah, so companies were graded based on where their communications landed. Specifically, voicemail emails arriving in the primary Gmail inbox received an A grade. Emails, and we were focused on primarily looked at the Gmail inbox. So emails that landed in social or promotions folder of Gmail, they were given D grade. And the emails that landed in spam folder received an F grade. What we saw is that was interesting to see is that on an average, half of the business emails ended up in spam folders. And this remained consistent across different industries and organization sizes. And this practically means that a lot of time and effort is wasted in reaching leads, right? Each company's overall performance grade was calculated by computing the mean number of performance point earned across all responses delivered by the company. And from there, numerical scores were matched to a letter grade based on the grading scale that was used to determine the company's overall grades. And you can see that to your left. One important thing to keep in mind here is that performance and personalization go hand in hand, as the content of an email affects how it reaches the recipient. Since potential customers are most likely to notice and respond to messages in their primary inbox, it's like absolutely critical for organizations to offer a human touch, whenever it's possible.
Sure. Okay. Well, can't speak. With all that in mind, which industry came out at the top? Obviously, you spoke about tech, telecoms, and media entertainment. What are some of the lessons learned for sales and marketing organizations?
Yeah. So overall grades were determined by averaging each company's scores across all 4 categories and then converting them to a letter grade. And I'm not sharing all of that. I mean, you guys need to go download the report. There's a lot more data. And there, by the way, the report is going to be available. Still, we are putting final touches to the report, but it should be available in a week or 2. Sure. So also important to note that the economic fallout of COVID-19 undoubtedly affected the companies that we are targeting. So the numbers for we saw about 16% of companies getting, just overall speaking, I'm still not talking about specific industries, just overall we saw 16% of companies getting A grades, about 30% of the companies making B grade. C was 17% of the companies. D was 36% of the companies. This is the highest category, and just a few companies received an F. In terms of the top industries, that of the 3 that did really well, this would not come to you as a surprise, but the technology industry scored highest overall, with 15% receiving an A grade, and they were slightly ahead of media and entertainment business, which was at 14%, and the telecommunication industry placed at the very bottom, with only 6% scoring A grades. And So in terms of lessons learned, even look, I mean, one of the things that we understood that even with the best of intentions and planning, companies and their sales teams often fall short of achieving uh, optimally across all four P's: promptness, persistence, personalization, and performance. And this is mainly happening due to capacity constraint. Business professionals simply don't have the time to engage with every lead, which is why organizations are looking into adopting technological solutions to fill in this gap. And with many companies are looking at technology solutions. It's really important to uh, make sure that you're looking at the right solutions. Sales enablement tool and marketing automation platforms help teams reach large audiences, but but most of these technology tools cannot engage leads in a two-way conversation that drive them to the next best action. So companies hoping to improve their sales effectiveness strategies can implement this following lessons learned. Uh, when it comes to promptness, I mean, in our research, we saw the majority of our surveyed companies receiving an inquiry from our secret shopper took up to a day to respond, and of course, earning a C grade. So, what's the lesson learned there? Respond to an inquiry as soon as it arrives. Uh, when it comes to persistence, more than 60% of the companies we contacted made just one or two attempts to reach our secret shopper, right? And that's not enough. So make more attempts to contact your leads. 37% of the companies included in our research this year made an effort to send tailored responses by including 4 or more personalized elements in their follow-up communications. That's actually really good. I mean, most companies did pretty well here, but still, I mean, in this world and in this new world, the customer expectations are much higher. Everybody is adopting a digital first strategy, so increase the number of personalized elements in your email follow-up. And last but not least, performance, right? As email filters become more advanced, as organizations, we need to adopt automation technologies to deliver the right message to the right audience in the right inbox that would resonate with them. So keep the email responses brief, and include information relevant to the inquiries. So those are my kind of high level points, lessons learned here.
Sure. So it's clear that there's some room for improvement, but I mean, you talked about how companies should consider adopting technological solutions to help with these 4 Ps. So, how can Conversica, for example, how can you help marketing and sales teams with improving sales effectiveness?
Yeah. This is a really good segue because the biggest lesson we learned is that it is impossible to scale if you are trying to do it all manually. And this is exactly where Conversica can help. We do 2 things very well, right? Well, one is we can make sure that every lead is being touched within 5 minutes, even less, like within a minute, right? But it depends upon how you set it up. So but every lead is being touched and responded. The second thing we can do is that we can make sure that it's being done with a human touch. And I know, and before joining Conversica, I was in the same camp. A lot of people believe that an AI solution can reply back with the same level of human empathy. But every day after joining Conversica, I've seen that every day we get responses from customers who our intelligent virtual assistants have reached out a few times, and these prospects or leads are replying back apologizing for not responding earlier, or maybe asking her about the weather, just like you would with a human. So don't underestimate the power of technology, and especially our IVAs. And I highly recommend that you take a look at them. And on that note, I just want to give you a little bit of background on Conversica, right? I mean, who we are. Conversica is, we are focused on building the largest augmented workforce in the world, where our intelligent virtual assistants help organizations attract, acquire, and grow customers at scale. We have been in business for over 10 years. We have helped over 2,000 customers, and they're both direct and indirect channels we are talking about here. Generate more than 20 billion in revenue as a result of using our IVAs, intelligent virtual assistants. We are considered a leader in this category, having launched the first IVA over 12 years ago, and we are growing at a rapid speed since then. We have over 3,200 intelligent virtual assistant deployed, with over 750 million interactions that are engaging prospects and customers in a two-way dialogue to determine the next best action with 98% accuracy. This is more accurate than an SDR or a BDR for that matter. And in terms of what we offer, Conversica offers intelligent virtual assistant applications, and we offer this across customer revenue life cycle. We do both pre-sale and post-sale. Conversica virtual intelligence assistants are really AI-powered, SaaS-based software applications that serves as a virtual team member, and they will autonomously engage contacts, prospects, customers, and partners in a human-like two-way conversations to get to the next best action that would help you accelerate revenue. And that could mean scheduling a meeting. That could mean gauging interest to buy additional products or services, or politely but persistently collecting overdue payments. So these IVAs are built on a robust enterprise-ready intelligent automation platform. They support 6 languages, and they can also integrate with most marketing automation and CRM solutions, as well as offer APIs for direct integration. And the final thing I was going to say, it's good to kind of hear about this, but sometimes I see people still struggling with exactly how a sales IVA or how an IVA works. So this is an example of our sales IVA, sales intelligent virtual assistant. The engagement and response from the IVA is dynamic. It could be across web chat, it could be across email or SMS text. Think of her as the most productive member of your team. She can initiate contact over email, SMS, based on some triggering event, either in your CRM or marketing automation system. It can intelligently interpret responses with multiple intents, so understanding the customer intention. It can respond messages to drive the next best action. And it can act, as in take appropriate action based on outcome of interaction. So, and it would do so in a persistent, prompt, personalized, and professional manner. But this is the bottom line. The bottom line is that no leads are left behind. Your inbound leads, which hold a tremendous potential for revenue opportunities, are now being converted into pipeline opportunities and closed deal. And I'll just close with this final slide, which talks about the most important thing, right? Which is our customers. We are so honored to have so many respected and notable customers who saw the power behind augmenting their marketing, sales, and customer success teams with our intelligent virtual assistant to accelerate their business opportunity across the entire revenue cycle. And as you look at the list of customers, I mean, you see that they are, major brand names, and very, very proud to have these customers in our customer base. So, David, it has been a fun conversation. Thank you so much, for your time and the time for the audience. And with the time that we have left, maybe we can open it up for Q&A, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for the presentation. Hopefully everyone watching has got a better understanding of how to, optimize reaching out to those leads and ensure you're not leaving revenue left on the table. We've had a few questions come in. Just wanted to start off with one. Sorry, I'm hogging all the space. I've been asking questions the whole time, but I've got one which I've been wanting to ask. So, why did technology come out on top at the end, do you think?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. I think that the reason technology came up at the top is because technology companies are really good at choosing these automations. And as we talked about clearly, some of the things that we talked about cannot be done. You cannot scale this manually. So I think that's where technology companies get that, and they're starting to use technology solutions to solve some of these business challenges. And so, I mean, my hypothesis is that that's one of the reasons we see technology companies being at the very top.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, responding in under a minute is obviously the most effective way to reach out to your leads, and using those virtual assistants is, I'm sure, a much more efficient way than, relying on the salesperson to instantly pick up the phone or instantly send out an email. So another question we've had in from the audience, someone has kindly asked, who should be contacting the leads? Should it be marketing or sales?
That who should be contacting the leads? Should it be marketing or sales? Well, I mean, the answer is where in the process the lead is, right? The lead, if it's awareness interest phase, that should be contacted through marketing, right? Because the marketing hasn't qualified the lead, so that it needs to go through marketing qualification process.
Yeah.
And as the lead gets qualified by marketing, and there's a lead scoring mechanism that's in place to make sure that this is a marketing qualified lead. Then the lead gets handed over to the BDR or the SDR, business development representative, or sales development representative team for them to qualify. And then, depending upon their qualification at that point, if it gets to the BDR team, then it's their responsibility to reach out. And then the qualification process continues in the consideration evaluation process until it becomes a pipeline opportunity. And that's where I think you would want humans to reach out with the specifics, like some of the pricing topics and other topics. That's
sure.
Only it's better handled by human.
Well, with that in mind, I think that kind of leads quite nicely onto this next one. Someone has actually asked, it takes time to write a good email. How can sales teams do a better job of delivering personalized messages quickly?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the things that we do really well is we offer these templates that are kind of pre-built templates out of the box, and this is one of the things that our customers really value. So what's happening is you can take these templates, and they're already really, really successful. So you don't have to have experts, putting this together. We have already put this together. Now, you can modify them based on your specific. You can tweak them sort of based on your business requirements, industry specific terms and things like that. But the best thing is, because it's artificial intelligence, as it's interacting, it's constantly learning, and it's not learning from your interactions. The entire our customer base, everything that's happening with all the customers, you are getting the advantage of all that learning. So that's the benefit of going with something like this, is that you don't have to start the process, you don't have to be an expert. The heavy lifting is already done for you.
Yeah, sure. Well, hopefully that answers answers it for me. So hopefully it answers it for the audience. Another question we've just got in says, one of our struggles is the feedback loop. We give the leads to sales and we never know what happens. Is there any insight on how to fix this?
Yeah, I mean, good visibility would be really good, right? I mean, it's making sure that you have the right technology to have good visibility. That's really helpful. But having solutions like the Conversica solution, where you know that all the leads will be touched, all the leads will be engaged, and you can take a look at those reports to know how these leads were engaged, and that's a huge value. So I mean, it's a really good question, and that's one of the reasons I see, especially when it comes to inbound leads, that's where the value is. And look, I mean, as a marketer, I struggled with this. When I was in my previous companies, this is a common challenge between sales and marketing. Marketing, keeps saying that we have given you good leads, and you're not acting on them. And sales keeps replying back saying they're really poor quality leads. So this is a constant cycle, and Conversica IVAs are really helping to solve that challenge. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick note to our audience: if you do have any more questions, please do submit them. We are starting to run out of time, so we're just going to. A question I've got here for you, Sunny, says, I'm going to have to read this one out because there's some numbers in there which I've written down. So I want to make sure I get this absolutely right. Looking through the research, it says that just 22% of companies received an A grade in promptness, compared to 24% in the previous report and 42% in 2016. Can you share any light on why this is, and what can marketers do to help resolve it? Or is it just down to salespeople?
Yeah. It's your COVID effect, right? I mean, that's right now what's happening. We're needless to say, we are in a very strange time, and one of the things that's happening is that everybody is being forced to go digital. Like everybody is looking at their digital transformation strategy. Everybody is going digital. It's digital first. Now imagine all these communications that were non-digital in the past, this events and face-to-face conversations that were happening. They're all gone now, and now it's all digital. So as a customer, as a prospect, how many emails are you getting? How many different ways people are reaching out to you? And so it's not like customers have significantly changed, but what has changed is that the market has changed. As a result, customers are getting many emails, more emails than previously, or communications of other types. And it's just hard for them to reply back. So you have to make sure that they are personalized, they are prompt, they are persistent, and they're ending up in the right place. And that's the real answer why the numbers look different from previous year. It's not that companies are significantly doing worse. It's the landscape has changed. Customer expectation has changed.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have to say, when I first saw the numbers, it was a bit shocking. I thought, wow, what's going wrong with all these companies? But is it good to know that it's the pandemic? I'm not sure, but no, thank you very much. Looks like we've got one final question here for you. So hopefully you can answer this. It says, how do you factor in the best number of attempts with other marketing activities to the same contacts? e.g. marketing has reached out with a traditional email offer and Conversica messaging is following up with a number of messages?
I have to better understand this question. It would be good. Let me do this. Let me go back to the slides. I would love to share my email with you guys. I think it's a good question. I want to better understand the question before answering the question. So if you don't mind, just email that question to me at sunny.dasgupta@conversica.com, and I'll get back to you on that. Because again, like this is something I want to kind of think through before just giving you a hasty answer.
Yeah, I'm sure that's yeah, well, that'll be very helpful. It's better than, like you say, just a hasty answer because we're live on in the webinar. But no, I'm sure a follow-up email will be. I'm sure your lead inquiry follow-up will be top-notch. Well, with that in mind, I think we are out of questions. So, Sunny, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, David, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Oh, no worries.
Really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, no, me too. Is there anything you want to leave our audience with, or shall we bid you farewell?
Yeah, I think the report is going to be available in a week or two. It will be available on the Conversica website. And I believe we have shared the link to the Conversica website. So please go there and download this report because you are going to find it immensely helpful. So that's my call to action before I leave.
Well, you know what to do, viewers. Go to the Conversica website. So yeah, again, Sunny, thank you very much. Thank you to our audience. And hopefully we'll see you all soon in another B2B marketing webinar. I've been Dave Rowland's editor, and have a great evening or great day wherever you are. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.